Remember you. Hey, morning guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing really well. Thank you for joining us again today. We had an absolutely brilliant day yesterday. Great start to the week. Had like 15 followers. We had an absolute 2 great dishes that we did yesterday. Really enjoyed it. Hope you did too. There was supposed to be foo soup, but it ended up being kobu soup. Absolutely delicious. I'll go through that now with you. What we did yesterday, we first started off the morning with making the savoury pancakes with spicy, with feta and spices through it, so some chili. We also, and sorry, not chili, smoked paprika, guys, smoked paprika and feta. Head needs a screw on this morning, I'm sorry, guys. And basically, what we did the eggs, almond milk, the unsweetened, unroasted. We had to use the rye flour, the eggs. We blitzed that all up with some garlic as well and some salt, smoked paprika. We blitzed that all up into a nice mix. Then straight after that, we made the charred courgette. So we charred that down in the pan with no oil, got it nice and coloured on the outside. We then peeled it. We marinated it in chili, some lime juice, just a little bit of seasoning as well. And we left that on the side just to marinate. We didn't cook it through too much when we charred it, because otherwise it would have came quite mushy. It turned out really nice yesterday, which was spot on. We also boiled an egg, which I just remembered yesterday, thank God. We had the avocado puree. We had crumbled feta on top. We also had the pine nuts. You could roast them off if you wanted to. I left them whole. We didn't need to roast them if you didn't want to. It's entirely up to you. We also had the feta, which we crumbled, and also the tomato and red onion salsa, which we made with red onions, vine tomatoes, a little bit of diced coriander through it, and some lime. It was absolutely superb. It was absolutely excellent. Then we just plated up the dish, a little bit different yesterday. It turned out absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Before we started anything though, we did put on the brisket. I even put it on before I started the stream. 8 o'clock in the morning. It had a good 4 to 5 hours to cook. I marinated the joint of brisket the night before in garlic, thyme and rosemary. I crushed that down in the pestle and mortar. Marinated the joint. It was absolutely fantastic. The smell was amazing. I had it for dinner last night and wow, that's all I can say, guys. Wow, it's absolutely stunning. Guys, please give it a go. I know brisket can be a little bit expensive, but you can get a couple of meals out of it. You don't have to use a whole joint all at once. You can just buy yourself a little one and cook it off. Just doing a simple marinade like that. As you saw yesterday, I made the stock as well. Had some onions. We had garlic going through it. We had coriander seeds, cinnamon stick, cloves, anise, just one little bit of anise seed. We had the soy sauce, fish sauce, chili ginger. Just trying to think of anything else, guys. I don't think I had anything else in there. And we cooked it out. We didn't boil it. We let it simmer for a good hour or so. Let it cook down. We added the soy sauce and fish sauce last once we passed it and reduced it a little bit more. We also added the juices from the brisket that came out afterwards. We took the fat off. I'm trying to think of the word, what it's called. Skimmed the fat. There we go, guys. We skimmed the fat off the juices just to get a little bit more healthier. We added the juices to the stock. We also deglazed the casserole pan. Obviously, you couldn't put it in water because obviously it'll crack for being so hot. So what I did, I put a very small amount of water once the casserole dish had cooled down in the bottom. I grabbed a brush and started brushing off the sediment from the beef so you could get all those lovely flavors. So that would make a nice dark rich stock for the soup. That turned out absolutely brilliant. We teared down the brisket once it had cooled down. We added some hot sauce, some diced shallots, some chives. We gave that a mix. We also put in the kobu soup the bean sprouts. We had spring onions, carrots, celery, which we julienned up into small little batons. What else did we have in there? We had the noodles as well. I use ramen noodles. Obviously better to use rice noodles, obviously, because it's a Vietnamese dish. I just use ramen noodles because that's what I had. Why not? You can use whatever you want. It's entirely up to you guys. You can really play around with the dishes. I tell you this every day. And I think that was it. I was on the dish, to be honest with you. It turned out really nice. Guys, I'll tell you what. I had it for dinner last night, and it was absolutely spot on. I really enjoyed it. It was really, really tasty soup. It was very time consuming, but if you guys work in the afternoon or the evening, it's always worth putting it either. You can always put it in a slow cook. You can put it in the oven the night before, and you can start making the juices and all that. It's really entirely up to you. Take it out in the morning, but it is worth those 4 or 5 hours until the brisket is really nice and pulled right down. Today, we're going to be doing... what are we doing today, guys? We're doing prawn toast this afternoon, and a healthy version of it, so it's going to be slightly different. We're also going to be doing this morning the rissoles. So we're going to make, if you guys haven't heard of rissoles before, they're usually mixed with potato and parsley. It's a lovely dish. I'm going to mix it with half potatoes, half sweet potatoes. I'm going to put some parsley in, I'm going to put some cumin, I'm going to put some thyme, some garlic, a little bit of paprika, not much, some salt, some onions and some thyme. So there's quite a lot going in there. We're going to blitz the meat up that we had left over yesterday, which is fantastic. You can use brisket, you can use any kind of beef really, if you've got leftover that's cooked. Blitz up the beef. I'm going to put the potatoes in, the sweet potato and the baked potato, into the oven just to cook out. We're going to dry roast it so it doesn't, if you wet the mix with like a mash in water, it'll be too sloppy. You could do it like that, it's really entirely up to you, but I think it's too sloppy. You want to have a dry mix so it will hold together and bind together so much more better. We're also going to have with it the carrot and coriander puree to go on the plate. We've also got roasted swede batons, which I'm going to marinate. We're going to put through the oven. I'm going to roast them off. I'm going to marinate it with some garlic, some thyme or rosemary, whichever we got. We also got some minted greens going on there, so we've got asparagus. I've got some very small tender stem broccoli, and I've got some frozen peas to go with it. So we're going to chop up some mint, we're going to marinate it a little bit, and we're going to cook them off. We're going to blanch them, keep them nice and green, nice and crunchy to go on the dish, so it'll be absolutely fantastic. And we're also going to make like a horseradish yogurt as well to just go on the dish and to complement with the beef, the potatoes and that. So it should be an absolute fantastic dish. So I said this afternoon we're going to be doing a healthy prawn toast. It's not deep fried like you normally would know from the Chinese. It's going to be, I'm going to blitz up some prawns, I'm going to add some flavors to it. I've got some wholemeal toast, I'm going to spread it on there, and I'm going to cover the top with sesame seeds, and I'm going to do something slightly different. I've got some onion seeds as well, some black onion seeds. So I'm going to put kind of a half mix on top. We're going to bake it in the oven, we're going to use that, and we're going to do like a pineapple and orange salsa to go with it. Some orange segments on the plate. We got some charred baby jam as well, spring onions, and some roasted cashew nuts in honey, just to add a little bit of sweetness to the dish, just to contrast. You guys can do it differently if you want. If you want to make a chili stew or something, or a little chili, not jam, but without any sugar in it, you can put that with it. It is traditionally with, or not traditionally, but it's usually served with like a chili sauce, but I'm not doing chili sauce. I'm doing something a little bit spicy though with the orange and pineapple salsa. But yeah, it should be fantastic. A little alternative to your prawn toast that's deep fried, so it should be fantastic. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to crack on with our dishes. Good morning, Meads. How are you doing? Morning, Lisa. Good to see you. Cat Wicks as well. Morning, Chef. And all morning. How are you doing? How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me again this morning. As always, you guys are amazing. Seriously. Didn't expect to have as many people in here this morning this early. Guys, you were very dedicated bunch you are. Really thirsty this morning. I don't know why. So I'm going to keep myself topped up today. So, guys, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to first crack on. I'm going to get the oven on, guys. So what we're going to do, I'm going to roast off on 180. Got a potato here, just the one. I'm going to get one sweet potato as well. I'm not going to go too crazy with it because we've got a lot of meat. We've got a lot of other things. Sorry guys, so you can see. We're basically going to wash the potato now. We're going to get that in the oven with the sweet potato. I'm going to dry roast it. So I'm just going to give this a wash now. Guys, I hope you had a nice night yesterday, or good morning, or whichever it is, wherever you are. I had a brilliant evening. Did a lot of more media stuff. I was watching last night. Who was it? Beer Gnome First. I was watching him for a while I was doing my medias, and we were chatting about things. And when I went to America, I went to Salt Lake, and apparently he lives in Salt Lake. So I ended up chatting on his stream with him about Salt Lake and food and restaurants, and it was really good. I really enjoyed his stream as well. He was playing Grand Theft Auto 4. I was just watching him all night while I was doing my studies. Yeah, fantastic guy. Guys, if you don't know the guy, please look under my followers. His name's Beer Gnome First. Kind of a very chilled out stream, I find. But he is crazy. But to me, that's a crazy kind of relax, and I really enjoyed it last night. It was fantastic. So yeah, please check out his stream, guys, if he is streaming. He is a fantastic guy, and follow him as well. So guys, we got the potato. I'm gonna grab sweet potato as well. Give this one a wash as well. I'm not gonna go crazy, so one each. Now guys, you can do whatever you want. You can foil it, salt it, really entirely up to you. I'm just going to pop them in as they are. I know I salted them and foiled them last time, but I don't want them going too soft. I want to try and dry the mix out as much as possible so that it doesn't get too wet, the mix, and I want to keep it nice and dry, so I'm going to put them in dry as it is. Hi, doing good. Good meats. Well, technically evening for me. And hi Mex, hope you're doing good. Evening +1. That's good, Lisa. No problem. Wow, so really quite a variety of different times here, guys. I know Meads is like very early in the morning. +1 hour. Well, we got a good variety here of where you guys are. That's quite mad. So I'm just going to stab the living daylights out of this. I'll get my fork stuck. Just so it cooks a lot quicker, just so it can get some of the heat into the potatoes itself. I'm going to pop these in the oven 180 or 160. 160 will do. Don't want it too hot. I'll put them in the bottom of the oven. They'll start drying out. You can put them on a tray, which actually I will do because I don't want making a mess in the oven. Just when they start spewing out water. So I'm going to put these on the tray, guys. I'm going to get these in the oven. Don't need to put any parchment or foil or anything on them. As long as they're in there, that'll do. So we've got the potatoes. That's going to be ready for the rissoles, guys. We're going to mix both the potatoes and sweet potatoes in there. So it's going to be fantastic. 612. Oh wow. There's some really different varieties of times we got here, guys, all across the world. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys coming. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Really, some of you are really absolutely dedicated, and you know, it's unbelievable. You guys wake up so early in the morning just to watch me. Really do appreciate it. So I can get rid of that fork. Don't need that. What we can do now, we're going to get the carrot puree on, guys. Carrot and thyme. So I've got myself 3 carrots here, pretty big carrots. What we're going to do, we're going to peel them, we're going to slice them down. We're going to get a pan on, get a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to cook down with the thyme. I'm going to add some garlic as well. I'm just going to cook it out. So I'm going to get myself a waste bowl. Grab myself a knife, going to give them a sharpen for the day. So it's nice and sharp, ready to go. Don't like using blunt knives, guys. You usually have an accident if you use blunt knives. So it's a 45-degree angle. Just give it a good sharpen. So fantastic. So I'm just going to give that a little wipe. You know what I'm like. I tell you every time, if you sharpen your knife with a steel, just give it a little wipe, because of that reason. Sediment left on the knife. You don't want that going in your food. It's really not nice. I certainly don't want to eat it. I'm sure you guys don't either. But yeah, give it a quick wipe so your knife is nice and clean, good to go. So you just want to top and tail the carrots. And what we're going to do, just get rid of them. We're going to peel it as well, get the skin off. It's not very nice, quite bitter, so I'm just going to take them off as well. My guinea pig would devour the hell out of those carrots. Morning, Kirsty, I hope you're doing good. Thank you for joining the stream. Hope you're doing well. So, get rid of the skins of these carrots. I'm going to peel them down. As always, make sure you get rid of your waste bowl as well afterwards. So guys, what did you get up to last night after I finished? You end up watching more streams, going to bed, chilling out? It's always nice to hear what you guys have been up to. As I said, I was watching Being Known First yesterday. He's absolutely fantastic streamer. Good, entertaining, really enjoyed it. While I was doing my media work for the stream, I was watching him. Some other people there as well I've seen. Can't remember now. But it was really nice. Really enjoyed myself. As I said, I do find time to join your streams, and you are streaming, guys. I will definitely join you guys. If I do know you're streaming, then yeah, by all means, I'll come and join. Have a little chat, see how you're doing. Absolutely fantastic. As I said, I always like to try and support the other streamers as well. Regardless if it's games or cooking, whatever, I still kind of want to support you guys. You know, you support me, I want to kind of give something back to the community as well. You guys give me something at the moment. I suppose I am giving you something by the stream, but I want to give a bit more. So I'll come and support you guys in your streams. So if you are streaming, just let me know. I'll keep an eye, follow you. And then if you're about when I'm doing some studies, I'll come and watch you. No problem. So, I'm going to chop this down. Watch your fingers, guys. I'm slicing them really thin because with the puree, if you slice it really thick, it'll take the carrots longer to actually cook down and soften up. And you'll end up waiting ages for the carrots to actually break down to be really soft. That can be a bit of a nightmare. If it gets really big on the end here, just cut it straight in half. Just to make it easier for you. So you can cut them nice and thin. I mean, you could use a mandolin if you really wanted to. I'm not. I'm just going to use my knife just so I can show you, because most of you haven't got a mandolin anyway, so I'm sure you'd rather see me chop it rather than use that. But that's also an option. If you're making it very quickly as well, you can put it on a thin setting, slice them through, and you can get the puree done pretty quickly, to be honest with you, because they'll break down because they're so thin. But yeah, this usually takes about an hour or so just to break down, as long as you cut them nice and thin. You can cut this in half as well, make things easier. So watch your hands. So let's slice up this carrot now. Oh hey, I'll just cut that a little bit thick there. So watch your fingers, guys. Keep your thumb tucked behind your fingers. Keep your fingers straight. Just use your knife as a guide. Your fingers as a guide for your knife. You guys don't have to go as fast as I'm going. I mean, it's entirely up to you. Just take your time, guys, if you're not very confident with your knife. It just takes practice, and just take your time, you know, you don't have to go as fast as I am. there's always a saying, you always walk before you can run. Don't run before you can walk, or you're going to have an accident or something. So, you know, you're not very confident, just take your time with the knives, guys. It really is. It is vital, because, you know, your fingers are important. I'm pretty sure you don't really want to go to hospital trying to reattach your finger. Not fun and games, I'm telling you now. So, what we're going to do, we'll slice a little bit of, I'm going to put a very small amount of shallot in here as well. It's only a small one. You don't want, if you haven't got an shallot, probably use like 1/4 of an onion or something like that, depending on the size. But you only want a small amount, you don't want much in there. Just add a little bit of flavour to it, so add some onion, a bit of garlic and some thyme, that'll be plenty. So I'm going to get a pan out, guys. Fairly biggish pan. Don't want a small one because we've got a fair bit of carrots there. I'm going to pop that on the stove. Haven't put it on the heat yet. And just get it ready. So, into your waste bowl, get rid of all the skins. Just give my knife a little quick wash. I'm going to fill the sink up while I'm here as well. Ready for tonight. Tonight? Today? Oh dear. I suppose I could get it ready for tonight, but I think it'll be a bit cold by then. So yeah, I'm going to fill the sink up. 2 seconds, guys. Just get the hot water going. There you go. So just give my knife a quick wash. More washing, guys, I know, tell me about it. So all you ever do is watch me do loads of washing up. Where's the cooking involved? So, just let this sink fill up, because if I forget about it, I turn around, there's going to be water everywhere, all over the floor. I'm going to be not very happy. I'm going to be soaked in my socks. So, just best off keeping an eye on it before I let it flood up. That'll do. There we go. So, right, that's all filled up, that's ready to go. I'm going to slice up the onion. Guys, you don't have to do anything specific with this, just give it a slice. You can dice it up if you really want to. It's getting blitzed up anyway into a puree, so it really shouldn't matter. And that's it. I'm going to grab 1 clove of garlic. Nothing crazy. Or half a clove if it's a really big one. Just 1 standard size clove will be plenty. If you're not confident with your knives, guys, I always tell you this when I'm doing this. Pick up your fingers. Don't cut your thumb or your finger, whichever. Always tell you, never ever cut your thumb, cut your fingers. Safe practices with your knives. So, I'm just going to take the little bad bit off there. Don't want that. So I'm going to do really quickly slice this. I'm not going to finely dice it because, as I said, we're going to blitz it up anyway, so it shouldn't really matter. Don't want a bit of that skin in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to heat up the pan on a medium-ish heat. Get a very small amount of extra virgin olive oil, wherever it may be. So I'm literally putting a very small amount in there. Half a teaspoon, that's all you want. So, got the pan on there, it's heating up. I'm going to chuck in the onions and garlic, so I'm going to move the board, take it over. Remove your knife off the board, otherwise you end up stabbing yourself, sliding it off. So I've got the onions and garlic in there, or shallots if you want to call them. Whichever you've got, it's all good. And grab a couple of stalks of parsley, some thyme, guys. So, quite a bit there. I'll probably just use 1 or half of this. Quite a lot. So what I'm going to do is just pull the leaves off. And I'm going to stick them straight into the pan to sweat off with the onions and garlic. So, pick a few stalks off. Don't go as much as I've got on the board here. It's quite a lot. I should make some dumplings. Or you fancy dumplings, do you, Meads? Dumplings are nice, but they're really not good for you. They've got quite a lot of suet and fat in them. I suppose you could make a healthier version of dumplings. Might have a look into that. Never know, it might be another potential dish for me to make. I'll have a little think about it. Make it without any fat. I suppose it's doable, to be honest. But then again, it wouldn't be really a dumpling without fat in it, so. So I'm just going to pick these bits of leaves off the thyme. So we're going to get them straight into the carrots. You can buy veg suet, chef. Oh yeah, that's true. Isn't that like a... What is veg suet made out of? I don't think I've used it probably years ago, and I can't remember to the life of me what actually consists of veg suet. Is it just vegetable fat, or what is it? Cat wicks. What is veg suet? Enlighten me. So I've forgotten what it is, what contains in there. I think it's vegetable fat, isn't it? Or does it consist of something else? So we're going to add the thyme straight into the carrot pan. Carrot pan. That's a good one. So into the onions and garlic. I'm going to give that a little sweat off, guys. Give it a stir around. A little sweat off. Just to get it going, and then we're going to add the carrots to it. Veg fat looks the same as beef suet. I thought it was veg fat. I thought it might have been some kind of healthier option. Still, fat is fat, but I suppose it's a healthier option as well. You could use veg suet. I still want to be healthier than that. I want to make something else, but we'll see. I'll have a little think about it. Might make it some other way. I always come up with these mad ideas. Somehow they seem to work, which is awesome. So guys, just sweating off these onions a little bit more. God, I'm really thirsty this morning, guys. I really don't know why. I think it's all catch up from the last couple of weeks where I haven't been drinking at all. I always forget to drink during the day, or if I'm working, I usually forget, but no, today I've had about 3 cups of water already. So I might have to take a pee break later on, guys. So if you see me jumping on the spot, you know I need to go for a 2-minute break, which ain't really a problem. So these are pretty much sweated off now, these shallots, garlic and thyme. I'm going to start adding the carrots. Now guys, if you've got veg stock, you can use veg stock. Really entirely up to you. I'm going to top it up with water. Really not going to make a great deal of difference. It will add some more flavour to it, but I really want to keep that predominantly carroty flavour in there. I suppose you could top it up with orange juice, but then again you're adding more sugar and stuff to it again. Really is entirely up to you how you want to do this. So I'll probably top it up in a minute. Once I sweat these carrots off a little bit more, I'll just add a little bit of water to it. I'm not going to add a massive deal, I just want enough just to help sweat them off into a nice tender breakdown, or whatever you want to call it. Palm oil, wheat flour. Oh, that's what consists of the veg fat, is it? Just palm oil, wheat flour. Okay. I'm guessing you got some veg suet in the house, or you just googled it, cat wicks. So keep an eye on these carrots, guys. Don't let them burn. It is on a medium-ish high heat. It's not on full whack, but it's pretty hot. As you can see, the ring's quite red, so no messing about there. So what we're going to do, add a little bit of water to the pan, just so we can cook these down. Just want to to sweat these off just for a few minutes longer. Not far off. Just to get them going, that is all. So, what we're going to do after we've done the carrot puree, we're going to make a start on the blanching off the greens for the broccoli. We're going to prep that up, get the asparagus ready as well. We're going to blanch them off lightly, and I've already pulled some peas out the freezer. They'll defrost in like no time. They won't take long at all. And what we'll do, once we've blanched the broccoli off and the asparagus, we will add later on into a pan with no oil, and we're going to char them off with some mint and some seasoning in the pan to make the nice minted greens to go with our rissoles. Absolutely delicious. So I'm just going to cook this down. It's starting to soften up a little bit now, so I'm going to get some water in here. As I said, I really want to break down these carrots as much as possible, guys, because when you go to blitz them and they're not like properly broken down, they can get really bitty and the puree's horrible, and it's just a nightmare. You really need to break down the carrots because they're so hard. They really do need a good cooking out. If you don't cook them out properly, then you're going to have issues with the puree later on. So you really got to make sure they're really nice and soft, well broken down. So, Infinus Love, hello, how are you? Hope you're doing good. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Guys, thank you all for coming this morning. Seriously, you're all amazing, as always. Hope you're doing well. Currently making our first dish. So I've got carrot puree on at the moment. So I've got some carrots diced up with some onions and some shallots. We're making beef rissoles today, so I'm using the leftover beef I had yesterday from the Boko. So we're making the carrot puree to go with it. We've got some thyme, garlic, onions. We're sweating this down. We're going to add some water to it, or if you've got veg stock, you can add veg stock. We're going to have minted greens with it as well. So we've got the carrot puree, we've got the minted greens, so we've got peas, we've got some asparagus, and we've got some tender stem little broccoli tips as well to go with it. We're going to blanch them off next. I'm going to get a pan on for that. We're also going to make horseradish yogurt to go with it. We also got Swede batons, which we're going to marinate in a sec as well, which I'll probably prep up first before the greens. That's going to be going on the dish. The rissoles we're going to blitz them up. I've got a little old-fashioned hand blender, not hand blender, a blitzer behind me, which I managed to find lurking in one of the cupboards, which I forgot to ask my mum about, but it should be fine. I'm going to use that. We're going to blend up the meat. We're going to add a load. We've got the potatoes in the oven, so we've got a sweet potato and a normal potato. That is in the oven. They're dry cooking down into a nice dry mix. We don't want to boil them because when we make the rissoles, we want a nice dry potato to add to it, not a wet one. Excuse me, guys. So we're going to bind that together. We're going to have cumin in there. We're going to have a little bit of paprika, salt. We're going to have parsley in there. We're going to have onions. We're going to have garlic. Really going to pack a load of flavour into the meat, into the rissoles itself. You know the beef yesterday, it was cooked down, then it was marinated in hot sauce and chives and onion and shallots. So there's a lot of flavour in that beef already, which is fantastic, which is what we want. But we're going to add even more flavour to it and pack it down into little tiny rissoles itself. If you don't know what rissoles are, have a little Google, see what you think. It's quite an old, I'm pretty sure it's not a British dish, I know that for a fact. Can't think, I don't know if it's Hungarian or what. That's a little Google for somebody to do. Can't remember which origin it's from. But they are damn right tasty. I do like them. If you've got some leftover beef, mixed with potato. It's fantastic. So I'm kind of doing a substitute for normal potato. I'm switching it for like sweet potato as well. So we've got a half and half. So you've got the healthy alternative there. So it's not just full on starchy potato. You're going to have some sweet potato in there as well for a little bit of sweetness in that, which is absolutely fantastic. All you Americans call it yams. You're like, what is this sweet potato he's on about? Yams. There you go. Trying to keep it so that everyone knows what I'm on about, rather than go, what's this British guy rambling on about again with these blooming sweet potatoes. Yeah, yams. What is it called? Rissoles. R-I-S-S-O-L-S, I think, or E-S. I don't know. I don't even know how to spell it myself. Terrible. Yeah, it's rissoles. Sure, you'll be able to Google it. Absolutely fun. It's fantastic. How do you make gold soup? Put 24 carrots in. Oh god, the puns. So funny. Oh dear. I thought the lame jokes were never going to come out, but they obviously appeared. France, is it? Are you sure it's French? I want to have a Google of this. I don't think it's French. French make everything though. French has got all the cooking's got all the French words in it, like hollandaise and béarnaise, and they're all French words. All the cooking techniques are in French words. French cuisine, French cooking. Groggerty, good morning chef, how are you doing? I'm good, I'm fantastic. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. How are you feeling today? Or how is your morning or afternoon going? Hope it is going well. We are currently making, with the leftover beef from yesterday, we're going to be making some rissoles with, we're going to mix it with, it's usually mixed with mash and parsley and chives. I'm doing half mash, half sweet potato, which is in the oven. They're roasting off very slowly. We want a dry roast because if we use it wet, it's just going to sink in the oven when we heat them back up. So we've got them cooking off on the stove here, which you guys are watching me. I'm just very slowly cooking these carrots down. I'm going to add some water in a bit. They're okay for the time being, they're not catching. I'm sweating these off, getting them nice and soft as much as possible, and I'm going to add the water. I'm going to cook that down into a nice carrot puree, and I've got garlic, onions, some thyme in there. Absolutely fantastic flavours in there for a beautiful carrot puree. Just going to turn this down a little bit, guys. So we've got that going a bit. We've got some swede battens, which I'm going to marinate, some garlic and thyme. I'm going to get them roasted off in the oven as well. What else we got? We got some minted greens, so I've got some frozen peas out the frosting. I've also got some tender stem broccoli, some asparagus, which we need to prep up as well. I'm going to have some horseradish yogurt going on there. Am I missing anything else? Carrot and coriander puree, which I've already said. So yeah, pretty much we're just going to bring that all together. We're going to make the rissoles as well. We're going to blitz up the meat into a nice like puree or till it's blended well. I've got myself a old-fashioned robo coupe here, which will do the job for me. It's not the sharpest thing in the world, but it'll do. Just to blend the meat up, because I don't think my hand blender will do it for me. And I don't want to be constantly blending, scraping out, put the next lot in, blending, because it's too small. So I have managed to find a blender that I've got, so we'll see how it goes. No idea what kind of noise it's going to make as well, so we could have a new Chewbacca on the old mic. A risole, initially created in France, a small croquette enclosed in pastry or rolled in breadcrumbs, usually baked or deep fried. Really? No. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Probably is right. I always thought they were like Hungarian. I'm guessing you used old wiki. Let's have a look. Oh, you're right. Oh wow, I never knew that. Something you learn every day, guys. I always thought they were from Hungary or something like that. I didn't actually think they were French. Oh, they actually deep fry them today. I always bake them. Tell you what, good old wiki, eh? Teaches you something new every day, guys. Fantastic. Thank you for that, Infernus Love. Awesome bit of information. So what's going on when you say you're sweating them off or cooking them down on a physical or chemistry level? Okay, technical term. I'm just softening them up on a low heat. So whenever I hear the word sweat down, they're actually literally, when you cook the vegetable or the onion or whatever it is, you're sweating it. So basically, you know, when you sweat, your pores open and liquid starts coming out. That's effective the same, because you're heating the vegetable up, and there's, as you can see, there's liquid coming out of the vegetable. So that's where the term sweating comes into effect. So that's why we would use the word sweat down. I just think it would be interesting to learn, like how Good Eats taught things while cooking. Yeah, certainly, that's what I said. I always tell you guys, ask questions, I will answer them, no problem. I do like you guys to answer questions. If you're not sure about something, I always say to you that every day, guys, if you're not sure about something, ask a question. I'm more than happy to tell you. It's not a problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some water to this. You can add stock to it if you really want to. Really not going to make a huge difference, guys. As I said, I've got packed loads of flavour with the thyme and the garlic and the onions, so it should be fine. I've just put them up. So as you can see, guys, just only covered them so they can cook out on a steady heat. I'll put it on number 3, on a medium-ish heat. I can turn them down if it's bubbling too fast. We can keep an eye on it, see how it's doing, but we would initially want to break those carrots right down. Oh, very interesting, cool. Yeah, I know, it's it's a bit weird term, because whenever I say it, I know some of you guys are like, what is that? But finally, somebody's actually asked me, what is it? So I have explained. So yeah, that is where the term sweating down comes from, because when your body heats up, you sweat. So initially, when you heat the vegetables up, they're also sweating because you're pushing the moisture out of the vegetable. That's why the liquid comes out. So as you can see, when I didn't, just a minute ago when I was cooking the carrots, a lot of the moisture was actually coming out of the carrots. So I didn't really need to add the water just there yet. I was waiting to cook them out just a little bit, just to help push them along a bit quicker, so I'm not waiting ages for the carrot puree to break down. So we've given it a head start effectively. Instead of just putting them in the pan, filling up with water, it would probably take another half an hour, so I've saved myself half an hour in time. Sweating food doesn't sound like it can be prepared. Okay, in fairness, love, I don't think it's literally sweat, but it's the moisture in the vegetable. But I'm pretty sure it's just the moisture of the vegetables. It's just a term we're going to use. But yeah, I don't think sweat and vegetables really go too well. I do agree. So I've got the pan coming up to boil now, guys, on the back. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit because I want it boiling like mad. I'm going to start on the swede. I'm going to get some swede battens done. This is going to be very difficult to cut because, as you know, swede or turnip or rutabaggage or rutabaga, whatever you call it in Australia. I really keep forgetting the term, whichever you want to call it. It's actually a pretty hard root vegetable, and it's not the easiest thing to cut in the world. So you just want to top and tail it to begin with. Top and tail means taking the top and the bottom off, just so you guys keep you up to terms with the technical words. Watch your ears, sorry guys. So yeah, top and tail it. I'm going to either peel it or you can use a knife. I'm going to use my knife. I was going to use the peeler, but if it's quite a firm, tough vegetable, it's usually a bit more harder to peel. But you can peel it if you want to. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to use my knife. I feel more happy using my knife, to be honest with you, rather than my peeler. So I'm just going to take all the skin off. Just be very careful if you're using a knife. If you guys are not confident using the knife, just use the peeler, God's sake. Don't want you cutting yourself and end up in hospital. Oh yeah, but John said use a knife. use your common sense, guys. If you're not confident with the knife, just use a peeler, please. I do not want anyone in hospital with a slashed open belly or whatnot with their knife because they slipped or whatnot. So it is quite an awkward vegetable to kind of peel. It's really not an easy one. So guys, please take your time. I really don't want you guys injuring yourselves when you're prepping up these awkward vegetables. So just use a peeler. Take your time if you are going to use your knife. Just take your time. You do not need to be rushing. Sweet and food doesn't sound like it can be compared. I applied the knife to my wrist. Oh dear. Joke, that wasn't a good joke. Oh dear, in fairness, love. What was with the jokes this morning? So guys, I peeled that now. That's all done. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to get this into little batons. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this in half to make it a lot easier to... Sorry guys, just so you can see. But you decided you want to watch the carrots. I was like, okay, watch the carrots then. I'll show you now. Just bear me 2 seconds. Make sure it's all nice. It's not catching. It's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do, just be careful with your hands there. This is going to be really awkward to push down. Just gently push it in. Just keep a firm grip on the swede or the turnip or whatever you want to call it. Just to cut straight through it. Don't start slamming your knife down because your swede could go flying across the board. Just put your hand, once you've got through it, initially put your hand over it and just slide through it so you don't end up having an injury. These are one of the awkwardest vegetables to cut when they're like really hard like this. Unless you've got a really good sharp knife. But even then it's still quite awkward to cut through it. So, should try and get some decent battens out of this. Hopefully the same size, give or take. So I've cut myself little strips down the middle. You guys don't have to do it. If you want to do different shapes, you certainly can. You can do them in cubes if you really want to. I just fancy doing battens today, you know. Mix it up, change it about. Not doing the same thing every day. Keep you guys interested. So, cut these down into little strips. Keeping them. Trim them up afterwards if you really want to. It's entirely up to you. So just watch your fingers, guys. You can keep the end bits for like a puree if you really want to. We're not going to make a puree today, but you can always keep them. I'm not going to go too mad with the battens. Might cut one more up. We'll see how it pans out. You can make little battens if you want. It's really entirely up to you. I'm going to cut the other way, I think. Cut a bit of an angle here. That's fine. We'll use it up. So I'm just trimming him up. So you guys can do squares if you want. You don't have to do battens. You can do whatever you fancy. Really is entirely up to you. What you want to do. Little strips. French fries from a turnip. Certainly can. French fry that turnip in fairness, love. So, as I said, you can keep these for puree if you really want to, or whatever. I'm just getting rid of these little scraps. I'm not going to be using them. I'll keep the rest of them though, just in case I use them for myself or whatever, for a little meal. Which is cool. So we got the carrot puree now, which is cooking down, softening up, which is fantastic. So there we go. Got a few little strips ready for today. Not going to go crazy with it. Not going to do any more. I'm going to wrap this back up with some cling film. Keep that. I've got rid of the scraps. As I said, you can keep the scraps if you're making a puree or something, or whatever you fancy. It's really entirely up to you. So these carrots are really starting to break down, which is fantastic. So it's always worth sweating them down, getting those little beads of water, making them sweat, and making sure they soften up.